let's just do it, because our brain thoughts are starting to get antsy and they're talking us out of this idea in negative ways, which is what this video is all about. Oh no. Hi, my name is Grace Help. Oh wow, fucking nailing it. Hi, my name is Grace Help. If you do not know, now you know your life is different now. This has been a weird year for me. This also is probably gonna be a very rambly, a little all over the place video, and that's it. So you can accept that or bye. I wanted to sit down and just sort of talk openly, stream of conscious-esque style about the year I've had, because it's been wonky, to say the least. There's been really wonderful, beautiful moments, and this is the time of the morning when Goose decides to bark because she's just been sleeping the whole time that I had the camera off, but when the camera goes on, now's the time. Mother like dogged her. I've had some really wonderful moments this year, some really beautiful, joyous things, and then I've had some really dark and sad and frustrating things this year. It's just been I guess a transitional year, and I wanted to sit down and talk about it with you guys because I think that's also what people do that helps, is they talk about it, not necessarily on camera. I mean, like, my therapist knows all this, but like, you know, she doesn't hit like and subscribe after a session. That would be fascinating and probably unhealthy. I wanted to talk about it with you guys because there has been a little disconnect, because I felt disconnected from the internet all year, and I wanted to just feel a little bit more like a human to you guys rather than so presentational about cooking or you know, favorites videos or other nonsense. I don't know why I feel nervous saying all of this stuff. I think it's because I don't put a lot of like my personal thoughts and feelings out in such a direct way, but I think this is something a lot of creators go through, and a lot of people that aren't creators go through, is the idea of feeling stuck, of feeling in a rut, of developing a lot of negative self-talk that stifles your creativity, stifles your ability to have meaningful relationships, stifles your ability to just go to a grocery store and buy groceries sometimes. For those of you that have been watching me forever know that I've dealt with eating disorder, I've dealt with anxiety, depression, and anxiety and depression have gotten a big hold of me this year, which is crazy because I'm in like the most wonderful relationship ever, but then my creative world feels very overwhelmed with a lot of anxiety and negative self-talk this year, which has kept me from creating. I kind of talked about this last year a little bit, and I thought by talking about it, it might help facilitate some sort of motivation, and you know what, that didn't happen. And I have finally come to terms with the fact that you can't just go to bed and like hope that the next morning all of a sudden you wake up and all the light bulbs are turned on and you're ready to go and you're back in the stride that you used to have. I've gotten into a big rut of comparing myself to my former self, of going, oh man, 2012 to 14, 15 were the prime years, and if I could just get back to what that felt like, then we'd be back on track, baby. Turns out that doesn't happen or work or is good. It's very akin to when like retired football players just drink heavily and rewatch their old games to just feel like they were once good at something. It's very much like that, and that's sad and dark and depressing, but it's kind of true. Gotten myself into this hamster wheel routine this year of comparing myself to previous times and feeling like I'm not living up to that level, and talking myself down from things, out of things, that I'm not good enough for things, that like the funny thing that I had going is gone, like that was a fluke, and like all of these irrational things that have made me feel very weighed down. It's like I tied a bunch of bricks onto my feet and I'm still going, but I can swim across that river, watch this. Nope, no I can't. I couldn't even swim across that river if I didn't have any bricks on. I'm not a good swimmer. The Helbigs are not a swimming family. When I was younger, I did like 2 small triathlons with my younger brother and my dad in like our hometown, and We are all three almost drowned, and the swimming was the first part of the entire triathlon. We made the teenage lifeguards very nervous. The cool thing is, I've been going to therapy consistently, which highly recommend if you can do it. Very cool. That's huge for me because I don't like talking to people about my feelings, especially. Two, I don't like going back week after week. I like to do it once and go, well, I did that scary thing that I didn't think I could do, and I have to do it again and again and again and again to get the results. It's not just a one and done. I can't just fall asleep and wake up and all the lights are on. Okay. And so I've been really proud of myself for going and doing the therapy thing. It's been very helpful. This is where I go, maybe I should have written down my thoughts before I started this video to try and make this a little bit more cohesive, but then when you say should to yourself, that's a negative way of talking to yourself. So I'm doing just fine right now. This is great. It's all gonna work out fine. It is working out fine. We're in the present moment right here. I've really realized how much negative self-talk I've given myself in the last couple months, and it's become this real heavy routine that I feel like I finally am ready to curiously investigate. It's also the end of the year, and as we get into the new year, everyone's doing their whole self-evaluations and figuring out what ways they want to live their lives in 2020. Also, I think 2019 was a weird year for all of us. Let me know if it was weird for you so that I can feel not alone here, because I would love that. What am I getting at? Baby Yoda was exactly what I needed at the end of this year, and I don't even care if The Mandalorian is getting boring. I don't understand plots of shows at all whatsoever anyway. I'm just waiting for that Baby Yoda to show up. Oh, there's gotta be bars out there that have BYOBY. Bring your own Baby Yoda. I don't know why. I don't know why you would show up to a bar with like a stuffed animal Baby Yoda, but I don't know why you wouldn't either. I also felt a little bit like I took a step back last year, and in that period I really distanced myself from the YouTube space, almost in a way that when someone takes a break in between high school and college, they take a year off and then they try to go back to college and everything is different and nothing makes sense. I mean, to be fair, even when I was doing YouTube, like really pounding that YouTube space, I didn't fully understand what was going on the platform. I was just like, here's a new funny thing, here's a new funny thing, here's a new funny thing. And they'd be like, how do you think we can make the platform better? I'd be like, I don't even, it's a shock that I even know how to upload a video. So you're asking the wrong girl. And now it's like, it's very intimidating. It's a very intimidating space now because it's very different than what it used to be. I'm a little bit in a space of I don't know what I want to do, and I feel very impatient about not knowing, and I want to just know and work and do the next thing. I have to give myself some space to work on my brain. How's this year fared for you guys? Anyone else feeling similar things? Also, I don't know if you guys experience like when there's really great stuff happening in your life, there's a guilt for feeling even slightly anxious or bad or negative about other stuff in your life, because you're like, but this is so good, and there's also a lot of people that would kill for this situation, so how could you even whine or complain or cry about this situation? I'm allowed to feel all the feelings because I'm not a robot. In the future, I feel like an AI robot is gonna rewatch that clip out of context and they're gonna come for me and murder me, if they haven't murdered our entire human race already. Other thoughts I think about, so I have a hard time expressing like gratitude. I have a hard time expressing feelings, especially on the internet and the public forum. I wanted to say thank you to everyone that's been watching the videos for years. You guys can tell if I'm off, even if I try to hide it and mask it. You all know, it's pretty transparent. It's funny how sometimes you're most transparent when you're trying to hide. A lot of you probably know this, but I'm obsessed with Michael Buckley because on his Instagram stories, he's a life coach now. He's an OG YouTuber. If you don't know, then hello, welcome. You're probably a 9th grader, and my videos aren't for children, so don't coppa me. Michael Buckley's now a life coach, and his Instagram story is just so wonderful to me. I've been watching it since the beginning of the year, and he spouts these like very wonderful seeds of wisdom here and there, and then he'll show you about like his new sweater that he got and how much he loves or hates it, and him at a piano bar, and then him talking about his adult soccer. It's all a wonderful hodgepodge, but the stuff that he was saying, even this morning, it felt very pointed, and I got scared to even sit down and do this video even after I decided that I was going to. Then all the negative talk is like, hey, guess what, we're here. We're ready to do our job, which is talk you out of it. I watched his Instagram story, and he just talked about how comparing yourself to your former self is so detrimental that you are exactly where you need to be right now, and you decide how you show up, and everything is happening as it should right now. I highly recommend for you guys to go watch Michael Buckley's story, because it's just so pleasant and I never know what I'm gonna get, and it's, like I said, true delight. I'm gonna talk about Audible in this episode because they've sponsored this video, and I'm thankful for that. Companies that I've been working with this year that have sponsored videos, because one, they're genuine companies that I really love, and I love working with things that I can show you that I actually use on a regular basis, and two, they're probably the reason that I made any videos this year. If I didn't have an obligation for an ad situation, I probably would have sat in blankets and watched reality TV. So I'm thankful that they've even tried to support me enough to get me motivated to make content this year, because I do like making content once I get through all of the forest of what the fuck and why the fuck are you doing this. It's really wonderful that Audible's sponsoring this video, because I just started listening to Unfuck Yourself by John Bishop. It's so perfect for the stuff that's going on in my brain and world right now. I'm only 30 minutes into it and I'm obsessed with it. He's a Scottish guy that is incredible. It's basically like tough love self-help. It's like if you had like an older Scottish brother or dad that like loved you but wasn't gonna coddle you, like, and that's exactly the kind of self-help stuff that I respond to. It's like no bullshit, and it's straight to the point. He basically says in the first 30 minutes, I'm not gonna teach you how to do mantras. I'm not gonna tell you to say that you're a lion, because you're not a fucking lion. And second of all, you're not a fucking lion. I did an air kick when I heard that. It's all about negative self-talk, and it's all about how we can approach that. I'm just so excited to listen to this that it might take me a second to edit this video, because I might just fall down a wormhole of listening to the rest of this. If you want to give yourself an Audible membership, now is the time, or gift an Audible membership, now is the time, because you can get an Audible membership for 53% off. You can choose 3 titles every month, an audiobook, and 2 exclusive Audible originals. You can listen on any device, anytime, anywhere with the Audible app. It's super easy. And like I said, right now, for a limited time, you can get your first 3 months for $6.95 per month. 53% off the original price. 3 months, $6.95 per month. If you visit audible.com/Grace, or you text Grace to 500-500. Obviously, my recommendation is Unfuck Yourself by John Bishop. If you really want some of that, like, Scottish punch. I think Scottish punch is just called like Scotch, right? They have a billion categories that you can choose from, different books and Audible originals. The self-help category is obviously very popular right now, the end of 2019 into 2020. 2020 is gonna be a kick-ass year for so many things. I feel it in my bones, which is why I think I'm bold enough to sit down and have this kind of conversation with you, something I would never have done years ago. I also am getting what humans call older, so I am giving less fucks. I also want to be more of a person to you and not so presentational, because that's more in line with how I'm in my life right now. The great things that have happened this year, obviously Mamrie and I have our podcast, This Might Get Weird, that you can listen to every Wednesday, which has been so awesome. We have a Patreon for it that's been really great, and we have a lot of excitement going into 2020 making that work. And also Not Too Deep has been really cool. If you guys have listened to that podcast, you can tell that I'm having more in-depth conversations with humans that I never thought I'd have a chance to sit down and talk to. And so that's where my brain is at a little bit more. It's less away from the gag jokes and more into just like being a human. And also maybe I'll just cringe after editing this video and throw all of my devices into the nearest water source. I don't want to predict the future. I want to live in the present. It's a gift. Oh, I know I'm gonna turn this camera off and have 10,000 more articulate thoughts about what I wanted to say, but that's me thinking negatively. This went great. I did great. Thank you guys for listening to this very rambly, just sort of mental health update. It's been a wonky year, but it feels nice admitting that. It's also very cool to start making active choices to switch the way that this current situation is. I hope you guys have had as best a year as you could. We're all doing it. We almost did it. There's still time for it to hit so many fans. There is so much time for fecal matter to hit wind sources. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, especially if you're my therapist. Again, thanks guys. I don't know.